Telepathy, mind reading, clairvoyance, and other psychic powers. By SwamiPanchadasi. The lessons. Lesson 1. The astral senses. The skeptical person who believes only the evidence of his senses. The man who has much to say about horse sense. Common sense versus uncommon senses. The ordinary five senses are not the only senses. The ordinary senses are not as infallible as many think them. Illusions of the five physical senses. What is the back of the organs of physical sense? All senses are an evolution of the sense of feeling. How the mind receives the report of the senses. The real knower behind the senses. What the unfolding of new senses means to a man. The superphysical senses. The astral senses. Man has 7 physical senses, instead of merely 5. Each physical sense has its astral sense counterpart. What the astral senses are. Sensing on the astral plane. How the mind functions on the astral plane, by means of the astral senses. The unfolding of the astral senses opens up a new world of experience to man. Lesson 2. Telepathy versus clairvoyance. The two extra physical senses of man. The extra sense of the presence of other living things. The telepathic sense. How man may sense the presence of other living things apart from the operation of his ordinary 5 physical senses. This power is strongly developed in savages and barbarians, but has become atrophied in most civilized men by continued disuse. It is now vestigial in civilized man, but may be developed by practice. Animals have this extra sense highly developed, and it plays a very important part in their protection from enemies, their capture of prey, etc. The strange actions of dogs, horses, etc. are explained. How the geese saved Rome by reason of this sense. All hunters have experienced evidences of the existence of this sense on the part of animals. The physical telepathic sense. How it operates. Interesting instances of its possession by animals and savage tribes. Women possess it strongly. The distinction between this form of thought transference and clairvoyance. Lesson 3. Telepathy explained. What telepathy means. The mental process by which one knows at a distance. The sending and receiving of waves and currents of thought and feeling. Thought vibrations and how they are caused. The part played by the cerebrum, cerebellum, and medulla oblongata, the 3 brains of man. The part played by the solar plexus and other great nervous centers. How thought messages are received. How states of emotional excitement are transmitted to others. The pineal gland, what it is, and what it does. The important part it plays in telepathy and thought transference. Mental atmospheres. Psychic atmospheres of audiences, towns, houses, stores, etc. Why you are not affected by all thought vibrations in equal measure and strength? How thought vibrations are neutralized. Affinities and repulsions between different thought vibrations. Interesting facts concerning telepathy. Scientific explanations of telepathy. Lesson 4. Scientific telepathy. The important investigations of the Society for Psychical Research. True telepathy and pseudo-telepathy, how they are distinguished by scientists. Strict tests are imposed in investigations. They celebrated Creary experiments and how they were conducted. The elaboration of the guessing game. 17 cards are chosen right, in straight succession. Precautions against fraud or collusion. 210 successes out of a possible 382. Science pronounces the results as entirely beyond the law of coincidences and mathematical probability, and that the phenomena were genuine and real telepathy. Still more wonderful tests. Telepathy is an incontestable reality. A psychic force transmitting ideas and thoughts. Interesting cases of spontaneous telepathy, scientifically proven. Extracts from the scientific records. Cold scientific reports read like a romance and prove beyond doubt the reality of this great field of phenomena. Lesson 5. Mind reading and beyond. What mind reading is? The two phases of mind reading. Mind reading with physical contact and without physical contact. Why the scientific investigators make the distinction? Why? Science has been overcautious, and how it falls short of the full understanding of contact mind reading. How the thought waves flow along the nerves of the projector and recipient. Like telegraphy over wires, as compared with the wireless method. How to learn by actual experience, and not alone by reading books. How to experiment for yourself, and how to obtain the best results in mind reading. The working principles of mind reading are stated. Full directions and instruction are given for the successful performance of the interesting feats. This lesson is really a little manual of practical instruction in mind reading and the higher phases of thought transference. The person carefully studying and applying the principles taught therein should become very proficient in both private and public manifestations. Lesson 5. Clairvoyant Psychometry. What clairvoyance really is and what it is not. The faculty of acquiring supernormal knowledge of facts happening at a distance, or in past or future time, independent of the ordinary senses, and independent of telepathic reading of the minds of others. The different kinds of clairvoyance described. What is psychometry? Clairvoyant en rapport relations on the astral plane, with distant, past, or future happenings and events, by means of a connecting material link. How to obtain the psychic affinity or astral relation to other things by means of a bit of stone, lock of hair, article of wearing apparel, etc. Interesting instances of clairvoyant psychometry. How to go about the work of psychometrizing. How to develop the power. How to secure the best conditions, and what to do when you have obtained them. Psychometry develops the occultist for still higher clairvoyant powers. Lesson 7. Clairvoyant crystal gazing. The second great method of securing clairvoyant en rapport relations with the astral plane. How the crystal, magic mirror, etc. serves to focus the psychic energy of the clairvoyant person. The crystal serves the purpose of a psychic microscope or telescope. How crystals tend to become polarized to the vibrations of their owner. Why crystals should be preserved for the personal use of their owners. The use of crystals or other forms of shining objects by different peoples in ancient and modern times. How they are employed in Australia, New Zealand, Fiji Islands, South America, etc. by the primitive tribes. Various substitutes for the crystal. Full directions for crystal gazing. Complete instructions and warnings. All stages are described, from the first milky mist to the clearly defined psychic photograph. The astral tube and the part it plays in crystal gazing. A complete little textbook of the subject. Lesson 8. Clairvoyant Reverie. The higher forms of clairvoyance, and how they may be cultivated and acquired. Trance conditions are not essential to the highest clairvoyance, although often connected therewith. In clairvoyant reverie, the clairvoyant does not become unconscious, but merely shuts out the outside world of sights and sounds, shifting the consciousness from the physical plane to the astral. Clairvoyant reverie may be safely and effectively induced by mental concentration alone. Artificial methods are dangerous and not advised by the best authorities. Abnormal conditions are not desirable. The one-pointed mind. The clairvoyant daydream. Or Brown study. False psychic development. Use of hypnotic drugs. Strongly condemned. Scientific psychological methods are stated and taught. The laws of attention and concentration of the mind. How? Clairvoyance develops by this method. The true occult instruction. Given fully. Lesson 9. Simple clairvoyance. What the clairvoyant senses in simple clairvoyance. Perception of the aura and auric emanations of others, psychic vibrations, astral colors, thought currents, waves and vibrations, etc., are features of simple clairvoyance. The beautiful kaleidoscopic spectacle of the auric changes. The prana aura and its appearances. The mental and emotional aura and its many interesting phases. Perception of astral thought forms. Other astral phenomena. The astral world and its myriad manifestations. Strange aspects of astral visioning. Seeing through a brick wall. The X-ray vision. Reading from closed books, sealed envelopes, etc., and how it is explainable. Seeing into the depths of the earth and the occult explanation thereof. The laws and principles of this extraordinary power. Magnifying and diminishing clairvoyant vision. A wonderful field for experimentation opened out for the student. Lesson 10. Clairvoyance of distant scenes. The characteristics of space clairvoyance. The astral seeing of distant scenes and through intervening objects. Remarkable instances of this power, well authenticated and established. Interesting and instructive historical cases recorded and explained. Testimony of the Society for Psychical Research concerning this phase of clairvoyance. The interesting case of W.T. Stead, the celebrated English writer who went down on the Titanic. The important testimony of Swedenborg, the eminent religious teacher. Other well-authenticated cases happened to well-known persons. The evidence collected by the Society for Psychical Research. Interesting German case. Why do so many cases of this kind happen when the person is on his deathbed or seriously ill? Why do such experiences often occur in dreams? Actual appearance of persons at a distance and how explained. Important and interesting facts are recited in connection with this phase of clairvoyance.